Hello and welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It? Podcast. I'm your host, GB. My voice isn't 100% at the moment. I did watch some football, or as my guest would call it, soccer. Something I wouldn't. But yeah, so obviously a lot of shouting, a lot of cheering, but we got the result at the end of the day for the Arsenal women. The Arsenal men haven't been doing too great, but the Arsenal women, Champions League final. Whoop, got to squeeze that in. But we're not here to talk about my weekend or who I support. We're actually going to talk about today's guest. He's an actor in both television and films, a voice actor. You can certainly tell by voice acting, like you've got a wicked voice, but I will touch on that. His film credits include Abducted by My Teacher, The Elizabeth Thomas Story, Ice Road, Tales from the Loop, Ordinary Angels, and The Girl Who Escaped, the Cara Robertson story, how I actually know him, how I discovered today's guest. Please welcome Robert Nahum. Robert, how you doing today, mate? You all good?
I'm doing very good, thank you. How are you today, George?
I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. Not too bad. Besides the voice, obviously, but in general, I'm good, mate. Can't complain.
Good.
It's Monday, so just beginning of the week. I get to talk to you because we've had to rearrange, but we've actually communicated quite a lot. Actually, discussing wrestling. So we will touch on a bit of wrestling at the end of the podcast. But I want to know about some of your film credits, about your career, how you got into acting. So let's touch on that first. But the first film I saw you in, and it was the last film I mentioned in the intro, The Girl Who Escaped, the Carl Robinson story. You appear as a sheriff. I thought the film was brilliant. Loved it. Even my missus, she's like, "Oh yeah, I recognise him." I showed her the show reel. She knew straight away. The film itself, based on Carl Robinson, surviving abduction after escaping from a serial killer. Tell me about that role and the film in general.
Well, it's based on a true story,
Mm.
and I was privileged enough to meet Kara in real life
Oh wow.
after I auditioned for the role and got it. In fact, she was one of the producers, and she was on set for most of the filming, so that was really unique. But I auditioned for the role, and I didn't believe when I auditioned for it I would get it. And the reason I didn't think so is because it the story actually takes place in the southern United States,
Yeah.
and the sheriff that I played was a white fella. So I kind of assumed, well, I don't know if they're going to change it that much to change it to an African American or Afro Canadian, whatever. But much to my delight, they did, and I got the role, and it was one of the most intense roles that I'd had, primarily because of the subject matter. It was a really, serious thing. Um, so I auditioned for it, got called back a couple times. Actually auditioned for the role of one of the deputies,
Well, nice.
and they actually said, "No, no, we want you to audition for the sheriff."
Yeah.
So I auditioned for it and got it, and actually received a very beautiful comment from Kara Robinson on one of her channels, saying that the actor Robert who played the sheriff was just he was perfect for the role, and it was really nice to see. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I didn't know that she was involved in the story itself, the film, not the story, but the fact that she was actually helping on set, producing it. You got to talk to her, someone who survived this horrific experience. But now that millions have seen this film, have probably gone on to sort of, investigate themselves about what happened and want to know where she is now. For you to be a part of that, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's actually doing very well. She has her own podcast, Survivor's Guide, and she
Mm,
also has an Instagram channel as well where she talks about a lot of her experiences and helps other survivors and things like that. So she's doing very well.
that's awesome. And another film, he was an agent, so a similar role, and it was the Abducted by My Teacher. I actually watched it recently, the Elizabeth Thomas story. That role itself, tell me about the similarities and just being a part of this film as well.
Well, that was also another true life story, and Elizabeth Thomas. In fact, it's funny because when I got the audition notice, I immediately remembered that story from real life. I was like, yeah, I remember when this happened, man. I
Yeah,
remember reading about this. And I didn't even really have a chance to audition for it. I hadn't. I put in the information about wanting to audition, and before I got it back, a casting agent called me and said, "Actually, they want you. You don't have to audition. They want you for the role of
Nice.
the FBI agent." So
Yeah.
I was like, "Nice, right?" So um, just went on to set, to wardrobe and set and all that stuff, and read the script, of course, beforehand and got prepared and went and did it. And it was again, it was a really intense role, but it was an excellent group to work with. The director and the rest of the cast, and who I was familiar with. Some of the same people that worked on the Kara Robinson story were
Yeah.
working on this film, and so that turned out to be great. And it was again, it was another great experience. I got to work with the gentleman who played who's on Roseanne, who played her son on the
Yeah.
television show. He was the teacher who abducted. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and again, a real privilege to be a part of a true story.
Mm. And for you to be involved, like I said, like so many people have watched these films now, and like
Yeah,
not even just like
millions.
the story itself, but like, oh, I like him. He's that's a really good performance, and like myself, gravitate towards you. It's quite unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. I don't get recognized a lot, but I do from the stuff that I've been in particular those Lifetime movies. So
Yeah. No, nice. There is one film I'm quite jealous that you not film but TV series, and the reason is because I'm a big Back to the Future fan, and the fact that you got to do a scene with Mike McFly's mother,
yes,
Listen, tell me about that. Oh my god, I'm like marking out a little bit now, but I want to hear how the experience.
yeah, no. When I found out it was her that I got this part, and she was playing the mother in the series, I was like you. I was like, holy smokes! Like that's that's Michael J. Fox's mom from Back to the Future series, and
Yeah,
I was like, I mean, I saw them all in the theater, right? A big fan. Michael J. Fox is Canadian too, so a big fan, and I was super excited. And then meeting her in person, she's super nice. She's so nice and laid back. None of that uppity Hollywood thing that you hear about a lot, which she easily could have been, I suppose, but she wasn't. She was super nice, very laid back. Um, what I really liked about working with her is she would say, "Hey, come over here." Like whoever was in the scene, she calls over in a corner and say, "Let's go over, let's rehearse and go over things and make sure we're really tight." And it was just perfect. She was so nice, and she had a great sense of humor. And uh, one of the actors that I was working with in one of the scenes, I was kind of doppelganging him in his mannerisms and the way he dressed, and we couldn't stop laughing. Like there was cut, because all of us, Leah Thompson and the rest of the crew and cast, were just bursting out into laughter all the time because it was
yeah,
just so much fun. So yeah, it was a great experience with her. And after we finished filming the 2 or 3 days that I was filming, she took me aside and said, "You know what? You're really good. It was a pleasure working with you." And we took some photos and stuff. So great experience.
that's awesome, man. Jealous. Imagine if you from the '80s could see that that experience and the photos, and just know that you're literally in a scene with her on a TV series watched by many people in the world. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Gonna rewind the clocks a little bit, and I actually want to discover. I'd like to know basically what initially drew you into the world of acting.
You know what? Ever since I was a kid, I was always fascinated with movies, and not just watching them, but I always wanted to know how they're done, how they're made, and how an actor uh, prepares to actually play pretend but believe it. And um, even in school, my teachers were telling me, I used to be in plays and things like that in school. And teachers would say, "No, you should try acting or try entertainment and stuff." And I thought about it as a kid, but I was like, "Meh." Life got in the way. A lot of other things got in the way. But a partner of mine, a girl I was dating, um, she knew that I really was into acting and very interested in it because I'd be quoting movies all the time and doing scenes from movies and she really enjoyed that.
What movie quotes?
So
You can do some now. Like, what film quotes would you do like on a regular basis?
I would really do one of my favorites from when I was a kid was the Ten Commandments. And
Fair enough.
there was an old actor from years gone by. His name was Yul Brenner, and he had a very distinctive voice that sounded like this. And when he was in his scenes, he was always very, very proper. And he'd say to his co-stars, "You will be mine, like my horse, my dog, or my falcon, except I will love
Yeah,
you more, yet trust you less." And he had this bravado about him that I just loved. And there was other various TV shows and things as a kid growing up that I would do. But things like that I would do for friends and family. And this one particular girlfriend of mine was like, "You should really do something like that." We were sitting around one day, and up on Facebook popped this thing that said, learn how to audition for television and film. And she said, "You know what? You should try that, man. You should actually go in and just learn how to audition." And I figured, what the heck? Why not?
nothing else to
I'll do
lose.
it.
Yeah,
So what they did is when you sign up, they sent you some sides from a little scene, and they said the day that you come, be prepared because we're going to film you, and then we're going to give you some advice on what you did. So I went in there, I did my scene, they filmed it, and they were like, "Okay, like you gotta move forward with this. Like you gotta do this.
yeah.
You look really good on camera and whatever." And I was like, "Okay." So I did the audition and I signed up on a platform called the Casting Workbook, where you get notified when there's auditions for different things. So the audition for Tales from the Loop came along,
Mm.
which was an Amazon series and a big production. So they told me, you should audition for some roles. So I did, I don't know, 5 or 6 auditions, and they kept calling me back. And then I wouldn't hear from them for a couple of weeks, and then they'd call me back. And then one day I got a call from the casting director and said, "Yeah, you got the role of Logan, the bartender, on the series." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "You know what? That usually never happens. That someone just walks in off the street and gets a role in a $150 million production. Like that
Yeah,
does not happen." So I didn't even know what to make of that. I was just like gobsmacked.
hadn't really
So
sunk it yet.
yeah, like I couldn't even believe it. Even as the days approached to start filming, I was like, they're gonna call me back and tell me it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna email me and say, "Sorry, man, we thought you were someone
Oh
else."
yeah, yeah, wrong person. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that didn't happen. And it was like being thrown into the fire, man. Like no, like it wasn't like you get introduced by. I had done a short film before that, but nothing to this scale. I had no idea what to expect, and it
Yeah.
was a baptism by fire. But it helped me. Um, it made me a better actor, and things have just kind of gone on from there.
Mm.
There's ups and downs. There's highs and lows, but it's that was a great first experience to be exposed to something of that scale.
With the lack of experience you had, but for you,
Yeah,
your
like
eyes to be
literally
open,
no experience.
that's remarkable. It's kind of unheard of, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Nah, that's wicked, mate. I want you to talk me through the process of an audition. So there might be someone out there who stumbled across this interview, never done one before. Like, tell me about sort of the preparation that goes into it, and how long have you had to wait? How you feel sort of going into it and coming out of it. Just talk me through just your average audition that you've experienced.
Okay, so basically, um, once you find a casting director and you're part of a platform where you can be notified when there's auditions, what you do is they'll give you the list of characters in the said movie or TV show, and you can basically choose what you feel, what type of character you feel you would fit with and do well with. Now they can change that on you. The casting director can say, "You know what? I don't think George would do well as the cab driver. I think he should be the lead or supporting lead. I think you'd be better for
I agree.
that.
I agree. I'm joking.
Right? Right? And so they might switch it on you and say, no, we want you to audition for this. Now, what your job is rather as an actor, is you have to find basically the humanity in that character. And they give you a little bit of information, they give you some lines, maybe anywhere from a page to maybe 3 pages of lines. And within that, you have to become the character. Now, what that means is you don't act. That's the thing about acting. Acting isn't about acting.
Mm.
It's about basically taking who you are as an individual and saying, okay, if I was in this framework, if I was in these circumstances, how would I be?
Yeah.
How would I respond to this situation? And to make it as real as possible. Because we've all seen programs, movies, or whatever the case may be, where you're watching an actor and hey, they're trying hard, they're doing the best, but you know they're acting. Like you can tell.
Yeah.
Where when we watch a movie or a television program and the actor is not acting, they're just being, then it's you never think about the fact that they're acting. You never think about that. You truly enjoy the character.
You want to switch
And
off and you want to be like part of the film in a way as an
that's right.
audience viewer.
That's right. And that is part of the preparation. That takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of focus. You really got to get to know the character. Now, that's the tricky part because in an audition, they don't give you the whole script. Like I said, they gave you a page or two, but that's kind of what makes it exciting because it's kind of like you're on a high wire. Like you have to make it your own and you can't think too much about it because that just messes you up. That just makes you all nervous. You got to say, okay, this is what I've developed. This is what I'm going to bring to the table. And hey, either they buy what I'm selling or they don't. But you can walk out of there with your head up knowing that, you know what, this is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I've built from what they've given me. And either it works or it doesn't. And one thing I tell anybody is don't ever be discouraged because you're going to hear 5,000 no's before you hear a yes. If you cannot take rejection, don't even bother. But keep going, don't give up, and just understand that it's part of the process.
And for those like the experienced actors, people getting into it, as I said, just don't be scared. Like failings can be some of the most fun part of it.
Exactly. From failure, you learn. In fact, what a lot of people don't realize is that even some of the A-list actors, they still have to audition. It's not like sometimes they're sent scripts. Of course they are, but they still have to audition. And a lot of times, I just saw a video with Robert De Niro where he said, a lot of people think that they hear my name and they think automatically I get a role. He goes, no, I still have to audition, and I've been turned down for roles too because I just don't fit what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And of course, unless it's Martin Scorsese, who will just give him the role anyway. But in a lot of other instances, he says no, that's not the case. And there's a lot of great actors out there. 0.01%. They're the ones, that 0.01%. Those are the actors that you see all the time in everything. Like those are the ones. There are so many working actors out there that have been at it 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And they only get small roles. They only do small parts. Not because they're not any good. It's just the way it goes, But the idea is to just keep going. And if you love it, if it's what you love to do, don't stop. You're going to get your breaks, man. You're going to get your breaks.
I love that. That's very rewarding for anyone out there. Just don't be scared. Take that advice and, continue the journey into your
That's right.
acting.
Keep plugging away, man.
That's it, mate. That's it. What aspects of acting do you personally enjoy the most?
I enjoy peeling back the layers of the onion on that character.
Yeah.
Whatever character they give me, and trying to fully immerse myself in those circumstances that the character finds themselves in. I've learned to really enjoy throwing that anxiety that comes with it out the window because that can be so detrimental. Just fully immerse yourself in the character um, and just fall in love with it. Uh, I really enjoy being part of the working with the cast and crew. I enjoy the teamwork and
Yeah,
the camaraderie and the telling of a story. Um, when we watch a movie or a television program, we see the frame, but outside of that frame, there are literally hundreds of people standing there, and they all have a job. And when they say cut, it's so rewarding to know that every single one of those people helped you do what you just did,
yeah.
and everyone plays an important part. So I enjoy the teamwork probably more than the acting itself, just being part of the team and getting the job done. You know, that's really what I enjoy.
Have you been given many like narration roles because of your voice? Going back to what I said at the beginning.
You know, oddly enough, I've had a few. They're usually more advertisements. Like I just finished one for a gambling, informed gambling um, advertisements, and I've done some for insurance things like that. But actually, it's very hard to get into voice acting work here. Like, I mean, um, as much as you would like to think, a lot of AI has been taking over that realm
Yeah,
too, which
didn't really think about that.
made it a lot more difficult for voice actors. But I do have an agency that I work with, DeCapo, and they try to keep me as busy as possible with doing voiceover work for commercials and different things like that. But yeah, I would love to voice and do voiceovers for a lot. A lot of people tell me that all the time. Man, you should be, why aren't you doing, voiceover work for this, that, and the other? And it's like, yeah, I wish it was that easy because I'd be doing it. Um, but yeah, I auditioned for voiceover work, and like I said, I've done some, and I'm hoping for more in the future.
Fucking AI, just ruin everything. Give me that real voice that you've got, mate. Give me that real voice. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, Tell me some of your favorite films, not the ones that you've been involved in, but I want to talk to you as a fan because I think this could
Um,
be quite a detailed chat as well. But just tell me some of your favorite films, even films that since you become an actor, you've looked at them in a different sort of viewpoint.
one of the films furthest going back that I've loved and always loved was To Sir with Love. That was with Sidney Poitier and Lulu, actually.
When it comes over here
Um,
as a teacher,
yeah, yeah.
fantastic
One of
film.
my favorite all-time movies that really made me start thinking about acting when I was a kid.
Nice.
Um, another movie, just because of its over-the-top performances from back in the day, was The Ten Commandments. More recently, um, there was a movie back in the 80s called Prince of the City with Treat Williams. Um, about the mafia. That was one that really turned me on a lot. Um, one of the more recent ones was Django Unchained.
Wicked
That
film.
was that was definitely
Brutal,
one of
but
them.
really good. Really good.
Brutal, but very, very good. Um, another one was Snatch. Snatch was a
Hey.
movie that really made me think about, yeah, man, that is something I really want to do. Um, there's been so many. Another one actually that I caught on when my kids were small that I watched one night when I got home from work was about a boy,
It's a good film.
and just I don't know what it is about that film. I don't know, but that did it. Lucky Number 11 was another
Great
one.
twist. Great twist. Oh, for
Great
fuck's
twist at
sake.
the end.
Someone out there's like, oh, when I watch it, and I'm just like, great twist.
Yeah, yeah. It's that was another one, and there's just been so many. I mean, even one of Chadwick Boseman's last movies, 21 Bridges. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's good.
Um, but there's been a lot of movies, man. There's been so many. Like There was one that I was just watching the other day with my girlfriend. Um, the name leaves me now, but just another classic movie. Just movies from across the decades. Usually more dramatic ones. One of my favorite Bond movies actually was Tomorrow Never Dies, I believe it was.
Really,
I
I'm not a
believe,
big fan of it. Not a big fan of it. It's the one after GoldenEye. So Pierce Brosnan.
yeah, with Jonathan Price
Yeah,
was
not.
the villain. And you know what? It's the reason why it's my favorite is because of Jonathan Price and the fact that I got to work with him
Oh, nice.
on the Amazon series, Tales from the Loop. So it kind of became my favorite because of that,
Yeah,
because he's so cool and such a great guy. But yeah, so there's a lot of different movies, man.
the
I
films
can't
you said
even,
though.
yeah, so many that have influenced me. It's like music. There's so much that's influenced me.
I can't criticize, by the way, anyone for what Bond film like. I think Die Another Day is quite a good Bond film, and I'm so ashamed of it. All right, minus the Madonna stuff, but I don't hate it. I've just got a screenshot
Yeah,
here before some of the comments goes, "What? Tommy Ryan Never Dies is a great film." I was like, "It's fine, it's fine. I just don't love it." But at the same time, my opinion's probably irrelevant because I like Die Another Day, and I'm so ashamed of it.
well, hey, it's all fun. It's all escapism fun.
Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Hola, I'm Shelly Martinez, and this is Minnie, and I'm going to be the next guest on the What Do You Call It podcast. Tune in.
Yeah, I heard. What have you found to be your most difficult or even challenging role to date?
Um, One of the most challenging was a movie that's coming out, I believe, either later this year or early next year. It's called Psycho Killer. They're directed by Gavin Polone, and it was really intense. Like it was really intense. The scene that I'm in takes place in a nuclear plant. I play the foreman of a nuclear plant, and there's some really hairy, things going on there. But it was super intense, and it just called for so much focus because it was a heavy movie.
Yeah.
I can tell you the actress in it, Georgina Campbell. She's a British actress.
Can't
She was in
put a name to
Barbarian.
the face.
Yeah,
If I
she
saw
was in
the
a,
image,
a
I'd probably know.
horrible. Yeah, um, she was in a movie called Barbarian, and she's the lead star in this one, and awesome lady,
Mm.
awesome lady. It's funny too because when you meet actors that you see on screen in person, you don't realize how tiny they are. It's like Hollywood's the land of tiny people. Like, everyone there is so small. It's like they're giant on screen, and when you meet them, you're looking down at them. But um, a wonderful lady. But that was a really intense role. That's going to be one that people like. If you're into like uh, horror slash action, intense stuff, that's the
Mm.
film for you.
Keep an eye out for it. Robert, you got to tell me, as I'm going to wrap up the interview, as we've communicated about wrestling, and it's predominantly a wrestling podcast. Name me your favorite wrestler. Or if you do want to give more than one, I'll allow it because you're the guest and we had a fun chat.
I'd have to say my favorite wrestler of all time is the best there was, the best there is, and the best there ever will be, Bret the
Hey.
Hitman Hart. They'd have to be pound for pound my most favorite. I liked him when he was a villain, a part of the Hart Foundation. I liked him
Oh,
then too.
brilliant.
Yeah, so
Captain America
he's
every
my
week.
favorite. And I'd have to say the second, actually, probably is Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. That's probably my second favorite wrestler of all time. Those two.
That's who he was talking about in the private chat. Just saying like Mr. Perfect, and I think it was like a dream match against Kurt Angle, which should have happened when
Yes.
Perfect came back in 2002. But we still got a few matches out of him, but I just don't think it was the same after the Royal Rumble thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but those are probably my two favorites off the top of my head. Um, I think the Dynamite Kid would have been up there in his prime too, as one of my favorites.
Oh, he was just so ahead of his time. Just
Yeah.
She had his demons, and his body just gave up on him. And then, whilst he just couldn't recover, Davey Boy kind of elevated, main event. I assume Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect is your favorite match of all time.
Yes. And I'll tell you, there was a match that I saw one time. I believe, it was the screw job between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. That was also a really good match. I mean, the ending was.
It actually was. No, you are spot on. It actually is quite a good match until
it is a pretty good match. Dang, it was pretty entertaining.
These two
but
like each other.
But I'd have to say I don't think anybody could make you look as good as Curt Hennig. I think Curt Hennig, like I said before in our private chat, he could have a match with a mop and make it look just awesome.
Yeah. So shout out to Mr. Perfect. Robert, we're now at the end of the interview. Is there anything you want to promote? Anything you want to say? Any films you sort of want to plug? I know you promoted a film just before we talked about wrestling, but anything you want to say, mate? The opportunity is now here because we're now at the end.
Yeah, man. I just I'd like to thank you for having me on. That's great, and all the fans of your podcast. And also, man, if people out there want to check out my reels, I have some other acting stuff on my YouTube channel at Robert Nahum 5823. You can check that out. And just a shout out to anyone who's thinking about getting into acting or who already is. Keep going, man. Don't give up. Time is the essence of all things. And, a lot of the times in life, we quit when we're at the 1 yard line. The goal line is just right there and we quit. Don't quit, man. Just keep pushing through and you'll get there.
That's it, mate. You are a wicked guest, a man of wisdom with a wicked voice. Honestly, you can do my eulogy if you want, mate. I'll let you. Touch wood.
Nice.
But no, honestly, mate, it's a pleasure having you on. If anyone did miss the YouTube account, I will put it in the description below, along with your show reel, because I've watched it myself. I can personally vouch for you. You've got a great CV, mate, and it's only just going to get bigger and better. I know that for a fact, mate. So, yeah, mate.
Thank you.
Got my daughter as a film fan and as a mate and as a guest of the podcast. But thank you for coming on. Subscribe to this channel, like this video. But for now, everyone, have a great week. Take care. Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for What Do You Call It? Podcast.